Oui, moi j'en ai sur la table, sans faire exprès. Et tranquille.
Oui. Comme il fait chaud, on va bien les... Comme il fait chaud, on essaie.
C'est pour finir la bouteille. Yeah, it's English.
Okay, great.
Here it's English.
This is called in French, actually.
French?
French.
Okay.
Oh, are you sure to do?
Yeah.
English.
English. I guess it's in English.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
English.
And French. Tu remember?
Oh, c'est pas droit, j'aime pas quand c'est pas droit.
English.
French.
Parfois, faut faire attention
Ouais,
parce que ça se...
Ouais, bah c'est quand j'ai posé le verre, il a fait ça.
Non, t'inquiète, là-bas aussi,
de
ça
temps
l'a
en
fait.
temps. Ah, ok. Parce que je me suis dit, ça s'est vraiment fait pile à ce moment-là. Je me suis dit, mince, c'est grosse.
Là aussi, il y a un peu de... oups.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. The aircon is working now? I feel no.
J'entends du bruit.
Good morning.
Ouais, je trouve que c'est un peu mieux.
C'est un peu mieux, hein?
Ah oui. Ou alors j'essaye de me convaincre. On est d'accord que là on a le bruit de la clé qu'on n'avait pas tout à l'heure, non? Tu fais plus frais, je trouve. C'est pas moi qui essaye de me convaincre.
J'entends rien du tout.
Je trouve qu'il fait plus frais. Il fait moins chaud.
Apparently, all the speakers are in agreement. On se tient prêt?
Ok, je me rappelle.
Parce que- Prenez position. As soon as
How'd you manage to get all the games?
Good morning, everyone. Je vais parler en français ce matin. For those who need the translation, I will speak in French. Bonjour à tous. Bienvenue pour cette 7e journée de compétition des Jeux de Paris 2024. Hier, on a à nouveau vécu de grands moments de sport. Peut-être un record pour le sport féminin, le tournoi de rugby à 7 qui s'est achevé au Stade de France avec des records de fréquentation. Pour la première journée, c'était 66 000 personnes qui ont assisté à ce tournoi et qui va désormais laisser place à l'athlétisme. Donc le Stade de France est en transition avec cette piste d'athlétisme violette, si caractéristique des Jeux de Paris 2024, qui va faire son entrée en scène. Donc on a hâte de voir toutes ces stars mondiales de l'athlétisme marquer les esprits à jamais avec ce décor exceptionnel. Sur le programme de la journée, on va avoir des compétitions dans 24 sports, avec 18 titres olympiques à la clé. Et ce sera une grosse journée dans l'eau aujourd'hui. Ça a commencé ce matin et donc laissez-moi vous partager notre satisfaction que la première épreuve de triathlon ait pu se tenir dans la Seine ce matin avec l'épreuve individuelle féminine à 8h qui a vu la victoire de la Française Cassandre Beaugrand. On la félicite. Et puis l'épreuve individuelle masculine qui se dispute en ce moment autour du pont Alexandre III et des Invalides. Donc comme prévu, la chaleur, l'ensoleillement a permis d'améliorer de manière significative la qualité de l'eau et nous a permis d'aboutir à des taux inférieurs au seuil défini par la World Triathlon. Voilà, je peux vous dire qu'il y avait beaucoup d'émotions de la part de l'ensemble des personnes qui ont contribué à l'organisation de cette première compétition et à l'attribution de cette première médaille d'or. On reste évidemment concentré et on continue à surveiller les différents indicateurs pour les prochaines épreuves dans la Seine avec le relais mix de triathlon qui aura lieu le 5 août et puis les épreuves de natation marathon qui se tiendront les 8 et 9 août prochains. Autre programme de natation, cette fois à Paris La Défense Arena, avec beaucoup d'attentes autour notamment de Léon Marchand pour les finales de 200 mètres brasse et 200 mètres papillon et aussi les finales femmes du 100 mètres nage libre et hommes aussi. Et pour finir, peut-être juste un mot pour vous dire que voilà, ces jeux sont définitivement les jeux de la fête. Donc ce sont plus de 1 million de visiteurs qui se sont déplacés depuis le début des jeux pour profiter de l'ambiance dans les sites de célébration. Donc vous avez de la chance d'être aujourd'hui à Paris et de pouvoir profiter de l'ambiance dans les sites de compétition. Mais elle existe aussi un peu partout en France avec tous ces sites de célébration qui permettent de réunir très largement les Français depuis le 24 juillet. Et aujourd'hui, ce sont plus de 500 000 spectateurs qui sont attendus sur nos sites de compétition. Marc ?
Morning, everyone. Couple of quick broadcasting sentences just for those that are interested. NBC saying that Paris Olympic consumption on streaming platforms is already more than the combined total from Beijing and Tokyo together. And digital, 626 million engagements yesterday. Engagements, not impressions. Olympic social media have now generated over 7 billion for Paris 2024. That's engagements. 27 medal events today, I think, if I'm right. President was at triathlon this morning, which I can only agree with you was simply amazing. Men's is on at the moment. He will be at BMX and boxing. Right, a quick word. Today's topic we're going to do, and obviously as ever, as always, we will take all of your other questions afterwards. We're going to do a quick tour of the IOC refugee Olympic team, competing for the third time at these Olympic Games. With me again is birthday boy James McLeod, IOC Director of Olympic Solidarity, NOC Relations and Olympism 365. You don't look a day over 60. Massima Alizada, Chef de Mission of the IOC Refugee Olympic Team, Paris 2024. Thank you very much for being here, Massima. And we importantly have Saman Sultani, thank you very much, who rushed here. She's a member of the Refugee Olympic Team competing in canoe. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you being here. And finally, last but not least, Jojo Ferris, head of the Olympic Refuge Foundation. So let's do a quick little tour de table. James, you start.
Thank you very much, Mark, and good morning to everyone. Pleasure to see you again since yesterday. Today I've got the great privilege to be able to present to you the Refugee Olympic team for the Paris Games, but also we'll give you a bit of information on the Olympic Refuge Foundation. Many of you know that the first Refugee Olympic team was created for the Olympic Games Rio 2016. We had a relatively small team at that time because it was an idea that was launched by the IOC president after having consulted with UNHCR High Commissioner Filippo Grandi. And the idea of the team was really to shine a spotlight on the difficulties faced by refugees and forcibly displaced people and show that refugees can still access elite level sports and indeed take part in the Olympic Games. Following the Rio Games, we created the Olympic Refuge Foundation to show our ongoing commitment to this problem. And the foundation was created with the specific aim of using sport as a tool for displacement and refugees and making them feel at home. And my colleague Jojo will take you through a bit of what the foundation's been doing since 2017 when it was created. Obviously, we had a team in Tokyo Games. The Tokyo Games, as we all know, was a very complex games for us to manage. The team was there in strength, but also, again, showed the increase in the number of forcibly displaced people and refugees across the world. Here we're, sorry, I should have gone on to the next slide. If we could go on to the next slide. It's just some statistics, maybe not. But here we have a team of 37 athletes. Is it up there? There we go. 37 athletes who were hosted by 15 different national Olympic committees across the world, competing in 12 different sports. Yesterday I presented to you the Olympic Solidarity Scholarship Program. 74 athletes in total benefited from those programs and specific support to allow them to get to the Games. And we've invested quite a significant amount of money, as you can imagine, in this program because it remains very much one of the commitments of the IOC Olympic Agenda 2020, and in particular Recommendation 11 of that. So with that, you don't want to hear more from me, but I'm going to pass over to Massima, the chef de mission of the Paris team. Massima, please.
Thank you, James. Hello, everybody. I'm Massima Alizada, Chef de Mission for Refugee Olympic Team. For the last 2 weeks, I have the opportunity to spend time and meet athletes on the Refugee Olympic Team. And I have been inspired to their commitment and can say that I am proud to be Chef de Mission for this team. And I'm also very proud that there are 37 athletes who are representing the more than 100 million displaced people at these Olympic Games. They represent us with grace and demonstrate what refugees can achieve if they are welcome into their new communities and allowed the opportunity to thrive. So for the team has had a very positive start to the Games, with athletes already having participated in cycling, boxing, judo, badminton, canoe slalom, and swimming. Cindy Nagamba, our flag bearer, is competing this afternoon in the minus 75 kilogram boxing at 5 p.m. And in the days to come, we'll continue with more competition coming up in athletics, cycling, canoeing, kayak, taekwondo, weightlifting, and breaking. And many of our athletes will compete in the second weeks of the Games. This is the most competitive team we have ever had, and we have high hopes for the remaining 12 days of the Games. Thank you so much. And I'll pass to Saman.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Massima.
My name is Salman Soltani. I'm originally from Iran and I live in Austria. I arrived in Austria in August 2022, so basically 2 years ago. And when I was in Iran, I was silver medalist in Asian Championship and I was member of the national team. Afterward, I became Austrian champion and now I have a chance to compete in the biggest event, sport event in the world. And I'm a refugee and I'm happy to answer any questions regarding to the sport and refugee.
Super, thank you very much. Jojo, do you want to?
Thanks, Salman. Thanks, Massimo, thanks, James, Mark. And thanks to everyone for being here today and showing your support. I mean, these 2 weeks have an opportunity to put the 37 athletes and the refugee Olympic team on the global stage. Similarly, it allows us to draw attention and understanding of the global reality that 120 million people, or 1 in every 69 people across the globe, have been forced to flee their homes. And in addition to the team at the Olympic Refuge Foundation, it's our work 365 days a year to support refugees and displaced people through sport, whether that be in Uganda through a Game Connect program focusing on improving mental health and well-being, or in Bangladesh building resilience to address the issue of climate displacement, all right here in Greater Paris, where we have an amazing initiative called Terrain d'Avenir, which provides free access to thousands of people who are affected by displacement to access sport, whether it be boxing, taekwondo, swimming, dance, many, many more. And in fact, the Cindy Ngamba, when she's boxing this afternoon, there'll be a number of people who've been engaged in Terrain d'Avenir who are coming to the venue this afternoon to cheer her on, and I think that's a good example of connecting that elite level and what the team represents with the work we're doing in the community. By the closing ceremony, I hope we'll be celebrating the first ever Olympic medal for the Refugee Olympic team. But equally, you know, when the venues are packed up, when the crowds leave, when you go on to your different events and roles, I hope that you'll maintain the interest in both these individual athletes and the team, but also the work that's continuing across the globe and the role that sport can and does have in supporting refugees and displaced people. We've got an amazing campaign that was launched, the 1 in 100 million campaign. It's already having 27 million social engagements. It is based on the emblem that was created for the Refugee Olympic team that you'll see us all wearing here, and on the symbol in the middle of that is the heart, which connects to our work, and someone does it wonderfully. Maybe you can give a demonstration now of the heart to show your support. So we encourage everyone to get behind that campaign and amplify that and continue to ensure the ongoing engagement there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jojo. Okay, as ever, let's take, if you have questions about the Refugee Olympic team, or you want to ask any of people questions here, and then we'll come to the other questions in a minute. Yeah, so we're going to go, let's go Frangeux first, and then we'll,
Bonjour, Alain Mercier, Frangeux. Question for Mark. With so many young involved in your program, do you plan to extend the program with a refugee team at the Youth Olympics?
Sorry, yes. I mean, we are considering all kind of access to sport. So we've been working, as you may have seen in the last slide, with a number of international federations so that they change their rules to allow refugees to access competitions. The Youth Olympic Games is not on the table right now, but we will consider it for Dakar. It will be a decision of the IOC session if that was to be the case.
Yeah.
Hi, Jean Pateau from Reuters. The question is probably slightly off topic, but I would, since we have the presence of Masoma here, I have a question for her. So let's see if she can answer now, if we take it later. The French athletes are not allowed to wear the hijab because of France's secularism principles. So what do you think of the French authorities' proposition to Muslim runners to come Basile to wear a cap instead of a hijab during the opening ceremony?
Honestly, it's a really difficult question to answer for myself as a woman who wear this scarf. But I'm really happy to be in the Refugee Olympic team, and they respect me as I am. And I participate in the Olympic Games and cycling with my scarf. And hopefully UCI didn't have any problem with that, and Refugee Olympic team also respect me. And I hope that every international federation, they have their own rule about that. So sometimes I really don't know what to say. Yeah.
Maybe
difficult for me to answer for this question. Yeah.
Thanks. And maybe I can just add a little bit. I mean, obviously, I think you already know this, but IOCs and technical rules of the international federations apply during the Olympic Games. Athletes are free to wear a hijab, veil or headscarf in the Olympic Village and in Olympic venues, and in competition if the IF rules allow. Sometimes for safety reasons that isn't allowed, but that is our rule, and that is what we do as regards to hijab and competition at the Olympic Games. Okay, any more questions? Yes, Wakako.
Thank you, Wakako Yuki from Yomiuri Shimbun. If I have minor question to you later on, can I ask here or later?
Please.
Okay. And to refugee team, indeed, it was nice to see all those refugee athletes compete. Saman, could you tell us what are the common difficulties of refugee athletes when you aspire to be here and then getting onto the podium, and how does this experience means to your life? What is your aspiration for your future? And Chef de Mission, if I may, what does it mean to the world refugee out there if refugee team has a medal? What's the significance?
So Saman, do you want to answer that, and then we'll come to myself?
Yes. So me as a refugee, it's really hard for me to accept that I lost everything in my previous life. And when I enter to the third country, the difficulties is learning the new language, making a new life, find new friends integrated to that culture, and also follow our dreams, which, for example, as an athlete, my biggest dream was participate at the Olympic Games, and now it's that winning the gold at the Olympic Games. And behind me, it's, I'm not alone here. It's a really huge, big team. Without IOC Refuge Foundation and without the support of the IOC, it was not possible for us to make this happen. But right now, I'm in a good way, and I'm really happy that I'm representing 100 million, and now I see that it's 120 million refugees all over the world. And we want to say that when the situation looks bad, when you feel that the life is end, it's not true. You just have to keep believing in yourself, in your abilities. And we want to give hope to all over the world that it's possible. You can do it. If you can dream it, you can achieve it, and just keep going. And I hope we represent the 100 million refugees, that our team become bigger and bigger, and many other athletes have a chance in the future to participate and winning a medal. And also for this time, I really hope. And thank you. I just want to thank everyone, and I'm really happy to be here and proud.
Thank you for that. Massimo, chances of a medal, and what would it mean?
Just last night, I have heard the story of our athletes, and she told me it's the first time that she told her story to someone. And when she told me her story, I was so much proud that even with all the challenge and difficulties, she is here, and she didn't give up, and she participated in the Olympic Games in the next days. And I really appreciate that she didn't give up. And she is winner for me, that she is in the Olympic Games, and medal for one of us, for one of these athletes in these Olympic Games. It will be huge for sure, and it's a big achievement, and for sure for all refugees around the world, it will be really big achievement, and I'm sure that we will make proud all refugees around the world. We will make smile them, and we hope for that. But for me already, all these athletes that will participate in the Olympic Games, they're already winners, and I really appreciate their hard work, and I really appreciate that they didn't give up, because when I heard these athletes, the difficulties that she had, every time I said that, oh wow, how she has a courage, how much she was resisted against of these difficulties, and now she is here, and I am really proud of all of these athletes in our team. Thank you.
Okay, I see, yeah, right at the back there. I think I'm seeing Ed Hula. Welcome, Ed.
Hello, yes, you are. It's good to be here. Ed Hula from Hula Sports Communications in the United States. Given that athletes often don't succeed the first time they go to the Olympics, the experience helps them win a medal the next time. Are there any members of the refugee team who have repeated in that role? And along with that, any refugee team members who've gone through repatriation, have gone back to the country from which they've fled?
Hi, Ed. Nice to see you again. Yes, we have some athletes who've been in successive games here in Paris. We've even got one of the athletes, if you may remember him, Cyril Chachet, who has carried the flag, actually, in Tokyo, the Olympic flag, into the stadium during their opening ceremony. He was competing in weightlifting. He's joined the team now as our mental health practitioner. So he's actually part of the team, but in a different role. So he's not actively competing, but he's there to support. So the connection between the Paris team, the Tokyo team, and the Rio team is very strong. And as you know, Pour Biel, who was in the Rio team, is now an IOC member. So all of those connections are there. In terms of repatriation, no one from our team has done that yet, but there are some athletes that have become citizens of their host country, notably Kimia Alizadeh, who you'll see competing here in Taekwondo, that will be representing Bulgaria, yes, apologies. And that is, for us, a success. You know, when the host community is going to integrate a refugee, a displaced person, that is only something that can be applauded.
Okay, Graham, down.
Around, and the executive board, when they made the decision to invite Dominic, which was a difficult legal one as well because of nationality issues there with the Swiss system, we decided, well, the executive board decided that it would be in the best interest of the athlete to make sure that he was able to come and participate in the games as a refugee Olympic athlete. Now, each athlete has their own training schedule, their own training needs, And Dominic's team, that is based in Switzerland, was very clear that his needs, especially in his endurance race, was to spend more time preparing in a different location. And from our point of view, like any National Olympic Committee, we looked at that favorably because we wanted to make sure he would be able to come here in the best possible way. So he did get some exemptions, but that has been the same as we had in Tokyo and here with other athletes who've returned home to do some more training before coming in for their event. So there's nothing untowards about that. He did not, no.
Tracy Holmes just down here, and then we'll come across to Jacqueline. Do you?
Thank you. Tracy Holmes from the Australian Radio Network. A question, I'll be really quick. Jojo, how do people get selected in the refugee team, and how much competition is there? Massima, there is a woman who is competing for the Afghanistan team here, and I wonder how you feel about Afghanistan having a team with women, especially since women can't participate in sport in your country. And Saman, very quickly to you, do you hope one day that you are not recognised as a refugee, but as somebody that doesn't have that label, or are you okay with that label? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tracy. I mean, selection is based on two main criteria, and that's the sporting level, which we look at very closely with all the international federations, and then ensuring that those athletes have their refugee status verified by the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR. And those two things ensure that they're eligible for the team. As James said, there were 74 athletes that were receiving support and Olympic Solidarity scholarships, and it's like any NOC having a long list. We then take the recommendations to the IOC Executive Board, and they then make the selection of that team. There's also consideration that needs to be given for the team itself, with the diversity and the ensuring that this team represents the global situation and of displacement and refugees more broadly. But from those 74, there were then 37 selected for the team in Paris.
Massima, I think second question to you.
Thank you, Tracy, for the question. Yeah, for sure that women, even from Refugee Olympic team, and 3 women from Afghanistan team, they are a symbol of hope for all women of Afghanistan. And I have already seen that in the social media, all the people of Afghanistan, they are proud of these courageous women, and they are behind of these women, and they already say that they are supporting them in their participation in this Olympic Games. It means a lot for all the people of Afghanistan, especially for women, and I really appreciate IOC to allow these women to participate and to represent Afghan women.
Thank you very much. Yes, Saman, question about how you feel about the label of being a refugee. Do you want to escape it or whatever?
So being a refugee, it's not always a choice for us. For sure, we had to flee or we couldn't go back to our country, which is really sad, because I believe doesn't matter which language you speak, doesn't matter which skin color you have, which religion you believe in, and which gender you have or where do you live, you deserve to live in freedom and peace, which is not possible for us, and so we had to flee, which is not a really good thing. But it's important to any stage that you accept who you are and accept what's happened to you. And the more important is the reaction to you, reaction of you to the things which happen to you, because something can break you down or something can make you a superhero of your life. So for me, in my case, I'm refugee, I'm Iranian, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of this team that I'm one of the member of it, and yeah, I hope I answer your question.
Thank you. Very good answer. Yeah. Any more questions on Refugee Olympic team? Okay. Thank you very much to the team. I think you can get back to your work. Thank you very much indeed. And now we'll take any. Actually, maybe you stay for it just a bit, but the rest of the team, if you could go, that would be. That would be good. Thank you very much indeed. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, let's, as ever, move on to, let's start with Reuters down there with Carlos, and then we'll move along.
Thank you very much. A question for the IOC, Mark. We saw U.S. lawmakers yesterday accuse the IOC and WADA of strong-arming them to the U.S. government to stop an FBI investigation into WADA and the 23 swimmers by threatening with the Salt Lake City Olympics. What is the reaction of the IOC to this? Thank you.
Reasonably brief, I think. I mean, we have asked for a dialogue between WADA and all the stakeholders. From our understanding, the question is about the respect of international agreements, and those international agreements have been signed by everyone around the world, including the US. So I think that would be our comment on that one. Yeah, just over here.
Hi, Natasha Butler from Al Jazeera English. In the last few hours, we've seen tensions escalate in the Middle East with the killing of Hamas's political leader. You've got lots of athletes here from the region, Palestinians, Iranians, Israelis. What are you going to be doing in terms of their security? Can we expect you to be stepping it up at all?
I mean, security, I'm afraid, if you've been to previous press briefings, you'll know that I can't go into security questions, the immediate security questions, but rest assured that there is very good security, very strong security. They're in touch with us all the time, assuring us all the time, but I can't actually go into the details of what that is. What I would say in a time like this, what is important is that we can actually still bring together athletes representing the 206 National Olympic Committee, regions of the 206 National Olympic Committees around the world, and that at this time is probably more powerful than ever. And as I said yesterday, this idea of creating, we can't create peace, but we can create a culture of peace, at least create something which is in opposition to what is going on elsewhere in the world. But in terms of security itself, I can't really talk about the specifics, because I don't know, by the way. Yeah, Wakako, you want, oh no, actually Wakako, I will come back to you, but let's go down here to Rob Harris in the front.
Hi, just ask how relieved you are to see the triathlon go ahead. How relieved is it to see the triathlon go ahead? And are you going to be checking the athletes' health in the coming days? And would you compensate any potential sickness? And then I just want to mark after.
Yes, just to say that we are very pleased that the competition could take place as expected. We were waiting for the weather to put all its effort to improve the quality of the River Seine, but we remain very focused and committed to organize the next competitions. So yeah, very happy with these first competitions. And regarding the health of the athletes, it's a daily monitoring during the competitions within the International Federation.
And Mark, just in reaction to the previous question, you talked about trying to create a culture of peace in opposition to what's going on. Does that mean the IOC is opposed to Israel's attacks, to the Hezbollah attacks on Israel? Do you see that as the Israeli controlled territory?
We can only do what we can do. We're a sports organisation, so our job is to let the politicians, unfortunately, get on with what they want to get on with, but to try to create something, a culture of peace is what we try to create in a very modest way. We can't, we're unable to bring peace or call for peace. Well, we can call for peace, but we probably won't achieve it. But we can do only what we can do through sport, which is what we try to do. Jacqueline Magnier, and then we'll go across to Wakako.
Hi, Mark. Jacqueline Magnier from the Australian newspaper. Just in regards to the boxing, it's my understanding the IOC is now in control of boxing, and so your answers yesterday about the federations being in control. So I'm asking you, as being in control of boxing, why have the eligibility requirements changed and are not as strict as what the Boxing Association had previously in regards to testosterone and gender identity?
I'm not sure that's true. Our rules are based on 2016 rules, and they were used for Tokyo, so they were used in the last Olympic Games. That remains the eligibility criteria, which has been strictly applied. And you know, just to remind everyone, as I said yesterday, that these athletes competed in Tokyo. They've been competing in boxing for a very, very long time. They've reached all the eligibility rules in terms of sex and age via their passports. Very little more I can add, that we are following the rules that were already in place for 2016 and 2020. We'll come to second questions in a minute, but okay, we are on second questions. Wakako then, please.
Thank you. Two quick questions to Mark, please. One is we had two first doping cases yesterday, and one of them, Iraqi judoka, he was competing according to info system yesterday in judo, although the release of he was not release of CAS said that IOC's provisional suspension was laid on much earlier, as well as the decision of CAS was determined.
I'm actually not aware of that case. Actually, I'm honestly not aware of that case. I would, and plus ITA is responsible for testing and so on, not us. So I think you probably...
Participation of the athletes should be suspended according to rule, right?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that case because I don't have any detail, but the press office will be very, very happy to give you some...
That's great. And also, is it possible for us to see the Salt Lake City's amended part of host contract at all?
The host contract is... I don't know if it has yet been published, but the host contract is always... open. So yeah, it is. I'm getting a thumbs up. It is actually online. So yes, you can look at that clause if you wish. Okay, we're going for second questions. Reuters and then Frangeur.
Question for Anne and maybe Mark as well on the subject of the hijab. Well, I just wanted to seek clarification on what takes precedence, French law or IOC rules within a stadium at the Olympics.
The hijab. The hijab. So it's the rules set by the IOC and the IFs, which is applied. And as an organizing committee, our role is to make sure that this framework is used by all the stakeholders.
I mean, just to reiterate, athletes, as long as there's no safety issue, some IFs have issues with safety in certain of the sports, which you can understand, there is no issue for anyone to wear a hijab if they wish to. Obviously, each country in each national context has a different context, and so therefore some athletes will have to refer to issues with their own countries and their own national law. But as far as we are concerned, athletes are free to wear the hijab if they wish to, and it complies with the law.
A question for Mark regarding the allocation of medals for the team event, figure skating team event at Beijing on August 7. Do you have any information on who will be there for Russia to receive the bronze medal? Someone, skaters, no one? Thanks.
No one. It will be the allocation for gold and silver. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's take two final questions. So Ed at the back there, and then we'll come to Rachel.
Yesterday, one of the candidates for President of the United States, who may be the president during the Los Angeles Olympics, voiced his opinion that the opening ceremony was a disgrace, and suggested that if he was president, he would exert influence on Los Angeles to prevent such depiction during opening ceremony. He was particularly critical of the portrayal of the Last Supper. Any reaction from the IOC to that?
I think we've said all we need to say on the subject. I don't actually have anything further to add. I don't want to add to any polemics. So. Yep, okay, two questions, Rachel, and then come down here to AP.
Bonjour, Rachel Fréty, l'équipe. Je vais parler en français si ça vous embête pas. J'ai une question sur la réalisation télé du triathlon ce matin. En fait, on n'a pas vu l'attaque de la Française qui a gagné. Je voulais savoir qui était aux manettes, si on pouvait savoir, et qu'est-ce que vous pensez il y a beaucoup de téléspectateurs en fait qui se sont plaints de ne pas avoir vu le début de la Française. Merci beaucoup.
You want me to take that? I mean, it's obviously OBS that is responsible for the feed, but they work also with all of their host broadcasters. So in this case, with France Télévisions, I don't know about this actual. I was on my way here, so unfortunately, I missed the final scenes. But it would be the production would be between OBS and France Télévisions. It would be different, also, by the way, in different parts of the world. So I can't talk about who's actually in the end making what shots happen for the last little bit, but clearly we want everyone, and OBS has a very good track record of providing excellent coverage wherever we are in the world, and our host broadcasters as well. So without seeing the actual incident and what was missing, I don't know. We just hope that people, if this did happen, I hope it didn't spoil their enjoyment. It was an amazing victory, so French should feel very proud of that. And you, no, nothing to add on that, I don't think. Graham, last question, yeah.
Thank you. It's not quite 10 to 12, but thank you for a second opportunity. Just on a technicality, on the women's boxing competition, I mean, you say it's true that you're using the rules that were in place in Tokyo, but other federations, other sports, other functioning IFs, like track and field, which has some of the similar issues, they have updated their rules since Tokyo, and it's in a different system. Boxing is stuck in the past. One side of the argument is, well, you know, you've been in this years-long dispute with IBA. You're not set up to run an IF and update its rules, but some people say, well, you've got responsibility for freezing IBA where they are. Others would say, well, you advised member federations of IBA not to elect these people to take certain decisions. Maybe they have responsibility for the sort of paralysis of their functioning governing body. Do you have any sort of thoughts on why it is that boxing is still operating under Rio and Tokyo rules, and that things like, whether it's transgender or DSD, they haven't been updated because boxing's been in this years-long dispute with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can draw two conclusions from that. One, the first conclusion, the most important one, is that it would tell you that we're entirely comfortable with the rules, particularly in this aspect, and those are the rules that worked very well in 2016 and 2020. Yes, you point out there isn't an international federation at the moment, and as we've said, the President himself has said, if we want to see boxing stay on the programme. It's incredibly important, popular sport, incredibly important for what it can do socially. But we do need a new international federation. We need national federations to step up, which they're doing, and we need a new international federation if the sport of boxing is to remain on the programme, which we sincerely hope it will for Los Angeles. One can speculate that they may look at the rules if there is a new federation, yeah, indeed. Okay, one final question. I'm going to regret this, but please go ahead.
Nicolas Lepelletier du Monde. Can you share the sun water quality results? I mean, not only the figures, but also the documents that testified the sun was good enough to allow the competition.
So the latest water samples that were reviewed this morning, I can share with you the figures. They were between 488 and 770, which is well within the World Triathlon standards for safe competition. To share the documents, not sure. We'll get back to you on that.
But the readings you can have, I think someone said, can you read them again?
Sorry, so the numbers was 488. You know, we have different samples. So the lowest were 488, and the highest was 770.
Okay, having announced the last question, it's a follow-up, I think, and then Jacqueline, you can.
Yeah, Just a follow-up on Nicola's question. Will you also share I guess you took a sample as well this morning. Will you share the results of the analysis of this sample? Because obviously the sample you used was taken at 5 a.m. yesterday. And it rained a little bit overnight. I know it wasn't massive, but it still rained a little bit overnight.
We'll have the discussion with World Triathlon and get back to you.
Okay, Jacqueline, final question. Possibly.
I had a similar question, like how confident are you that the water quality was adequate for the swimmers, given that the test results are a day old and there was rain overnight? And if I can ask a supplementary, Mark, about the boxing, what do you say to the female athletes who are competing, who are very concerned that they will get in the ring against athletes who are so powerful and they feel that they have an unfair advantage because of their high testosterone levels?
On your first question, what I can say is that we followed rigorously the process set by World Triathlon, which was those tests examined this morning, and it's within those tests that we took the decision to allow the competitions, and we're going to have the other tests later today. But like the results were quite positive to launch the competition.
I think what I would say at this stage is that, as I said before, these athletes, boxers, are entirely eligible. They are women on their passport. They have competed for many years, and I actually think it's not helpful to start stigmatizing people who take part in sport like this. But they are women. They competed in Tokyo. I think we all have a responsibility, by the way, to try to dial down this and not turn it into some kind of witch hunt. These are regular athletes who've competed for many years in boxing. They're entirely eligible. They are women on their passports, and that, I think, is enough said from me. So thank you very much.